Welcome to M&T Bank Arena. More specifically, Lender Court at M&T Bank Arena, a place where both Tony and I have spent a lot of time. But we're not just here for sentimental reasons. We're here because there were a lot of transfer portal news that went down in the past week, both on the hardwood and across the hall on the ice.
And Acrobatics and Tumbling wrapped up its season this weekend. We have the Q30 reporters here for a preview. Plus, women's lacrosse looks to get on the right foot after 2 conference games.
All that and more on Sports Paws, which starts right now. Hey kids, what's for dinner? If you know, you know. Welcome inside Studio 125 for another edition of Sports Paws. My name is Ben Jurgen, and I'm joined alongside Tony Wetmore for our final episode of Paws.
Yeah, Ben, this year flew by for me, as I'm sure the last 4 years have for you, but we'll have our moment to reminisce later. First, we need to talk about what a chaotic weekend it was in Hamden with the transfer portal. Q30's Zach Stokinger has the recap of what you may have missed.
Thanks, guys. The transfer portal has been very active so far, so let's get to it. Caden Bennett entered the portal on April 1st. The sophomore guard averaged 10.3 points per game on 40% from the field. Bennett started 20 out of the 33 games for the Bobcats this season. He enters the portal with 2 years of eligibility left. And the hits just kept on coming for the Bobcats as Quinnipiac commit Lateef Patrick decommitted. The JUCO guard was the third best JUCO scorer in the nation this year, putting up 24.1 points per game off 48% from the field and 39% from three for Trinidad State. The Milton, Massachusetts native has offers from many other mid-major programs to consider. But on Saturday, everything changed as Amari Monroe took to social media to announce that he was returning to Hamden. The preseason and regular season MAC Player of the Year averaged 18.1 points per game, 1.6 assists, and 9.1 rebounds this season. This year, Monroe set the program D1 single-season record for steals with 72. Now, let's switch over to the women's team. First year, Gal Revive made her decision. The first year will be heading down south to Coral Gables to join the Miami Hurricanes for next season. Before she committed, Revive posted a heartfelt goodbye message. Revive collected MAC Player, MAC Rookie of the Year, as well as All-MAC First Team and All-MAC Rookie Team honors this year. Revive will have 3 years of eligibility left as she joins the ACC. Now, let's jump over to the ice. The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team has been heavily impacted by the portal, and Ryan Smith will add to that, as he is one of 6 players already in the portal. The first year recorded 5 points in 34 games this season and has 3 years of eligibility left. While Smith departs, there is a new arrival, Will Gilson. Gilson committed to the Bobcats for his senior year. Gilson had 24 points in 34 games in the 2024-25 season for the RPI Engineers. That's all the time we have for the portal. Tony and Ben, back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much, Zach. But you know, Tony, let's get out of the weeds of the transfer portal and talk pro contracts. 2 former Quinnipiac men's ice hockey players signed pro deals this past week. Firstly, forward and captain Travis Treelor reportedly gave his John Hancock to play with Mora IK, a Swedish professional ice hockey club that's in the 2nd tier of Swedish hockey. Finally, defenseman Davis Pennington inked a deal with the Kalamazoo Wings, the ECHL affiliate of the NHL's Vancouver Canucks. Pennington promptly scored a goal in his first game with the Wings. The team also picked up a new commit for the 2025-26 season today, as Nate Tivy announced on X that he will be joining the Bobcats next season. The 20-year-old defenseman from Ontario is the latest CHL commit to join the Bobcats. He recorded 35 assists and 5 goals for the St. John Sea Dogs, quite a name, in Quebec's Junior League this season.
Over on the women's side, graduate students Kendall Cooper and Kaylee Doyle earned all USCHO honors, both making the 3rd team. The pair was also named as New England Division I All-Stars by the New England Hockey Writers Association. Cooper ends her collegiate career with a record for the most career points by a Quinnipiac defender with 116. In the net, Doyle ranked 2nd in the NCAA with 622 saves and saving 94.5% of goals. Doyle also tied for 3rd in the NCAA in shutouts with 8. Now, let's discuss the final M&T Bank Arena team that is still in its season, Acrobatics and Tumbling.
That's right, Tony. Acro beat reporter Katie Valuchkovich has more on the Bobcats' final meet of the season.
Thanks, guys. The Quinnipiac Acrobatics and Tumbling team won against Gannon in their last regular season meet. Quinnipiac won with a 267.395 to Gannon's 255.3115. For the second week in a row, Hallie Fowler received Honorable Mention of Athlete of the Week. Fowler helped the team score a 9.8 in the compulsory toss and 3 9.75s in the compulsory pyramid, inversion pyramid, and synchronized pyramid. Junior Catherine Carter also scored a 9.9 in the aerial tumbling heat. Gannon only had the lead over Quinnipiac after their compulsory heat. Quinnipiac also scored their second highest team score of the year with a 9.407. The team event has been the heat that Quinnipiac has struggled with the most this season. Well, that's all the time I have from here at M&T Bank Arena. Now I'm going to send it back over to Meg and Miranda as they have a breakdown of the postseason tournament.
Thanks, Katie. There's still a few meets left in the regular season, but we're going to go ahead and look forward towards this year's tournament. And Miranda, where are we headed?
So this year's national championship is going to be held at Augustana University in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But we can't get there yet if we don't look at the most recent national rankings. Right at the top there, we got the Baylor Bears.
Like you said, it's the poll from April 2nd. Number 2, we have Oregon. It was the only loss for Quinnipiac so far, but we're going to get into Baylor, Oregon, and number 3, Quinnipiac a little bit later, so we're going to hold off. For number 4, we have this year's host, Augustana, and then to round out the top 8, we have Fairmount State, Iona, UMHB, and Limestone.
And then sitting at the bottom from that 9 to 15 range, at 11, you have Gannon, Quinnipiac's most recent opponent. And let's look at that team overall. They are sitting at 3, like we just mentioned. They were number 2 going into the season. They have an overall record 7-1, with that only loss being to Oregon at home. They've only really been able to score 1 perfect 10 so far this season. They've gotten a couple of scores that are close, but it was in that 7-element acro heat. Mia Rose King highlighting that one. But the biggest thing for this squad was the fact that they had 5 season-ending injuries to start off, and they really had to have some new and some rookie players step up and really make a bigger impact for this team than they were expecting at the beginning of the season.
That's right. We're going to shout out Hallie Fowler. She was the first week athlete of the week, and some other honorable mentions. Like you said, Mia Rose King, her 7-element acro, totally blowing it out of the water. Gabriella Pierce, her tumbling skills and scores have been great so far this season. Emily St. Ange, she's been having great success and stepping up a lot, and she's been doing great work. But then we're going to go up one more to number 2, Oregon. Like you said, the Quinnipiac's only lost so far this year, and they were sitting at number 4 in the coaches' preseason poll, but they've been able to pull ahead to number 2, and they've been 5-2 for their record so far, with their only 2 losses being number 1 Baylor. The other thing is that their most recent loss to Baylor, it was the highest recorded team score since 2021, being a 99.43. Absolutely great for the team. Like you said, Miranda, the Bobcats' only loss this year was to the Ducks, but for Oregon, it was their highest ranked win of the season, and some shout-out athletes for them are Haley Ellis, Angelica Martin, Blessa McMorris, and Morgan Williams. She had that great pass against Quinnipiac.
And you mentioned that their only 2 losses were to the Baylor Bears. Let's take a look at that team as a whole. They're ranked number 1. They've been number 1 all season. Overall undefeated record, 9-0. Their last loss was March 6th of 2021, and before that, one in 2017. Both of them were to Oregon when they were the away team. 8 out of the 9 teams in the regular season for their schedule were in the top 15, so they weren't just handed a great schedule to give them that undefeated season. They have had to work for it. When you look at their notable players, you have Peyton Washington, Levy McDonald, and Jordan Grundler. These are the trio that make up the Baylor Bears' success. But the thing is, you have to understand with this team, acro requires a lot of people. They would not have the success that they would if it weren't for the whole team stepping up and being incredible performers. But these are the 3 that are really making the difference to this squad.
Yeah, when you look at the weekly awards, these are the names that you constantly see. But we're going to zoom out to the league as a whole, back to those rankings. We're going to pick a team. My team that I'm personally going to pick, Fairmount State. They're currently 8-1, and they're going to have that extra practice for the Mountain East Conference. So going in to the championships, they're going to have a lot on their hands.
So I'm actually going to go one above you. I'm going to pick Augustana. They obviously have the home field advantage. They were number 11 in the original preseason poll, and they moved away up to 4. So I think they could do some big moves in this tournament. But that is all the time we have for the tournament preview. We're going to send it back to Ben and Tony at the desk.
Thank you, Miranda and Meg. Moving outside to the lacrosse field on Wednesday, women's lax hit the road for a short trip to Fairfield. Quinnipiac looking to snap a 4-game losing streak, but Fairfield had won its last 2. Into the first quarter, Ella Grace Delmond at the point rips a shot and scores. Bobcats up 1-0 early. 3 minutes later, Delmond's shot is deflected, but her sister, Mia Delmond, grabs the ball and scores. Bobcats lead 3-1 after the first. 2 minutes into the second, Abby Wise sets up Delmond perfectly with a dime from behind the net. Quinnipiac increases the lead. Then Wise finds Kate Bendowski near the point. Hook shot connects. The Bobcats take a 4-goal lead going into halftime. But in the second half, Fairfield flipped a switch. Kelly Haggerty gets inside and fires it past Shannon Alden, cutting the lead to 2. Less than 3 minutes later, Amanda Kozak hits Haggerty from behind the crease. She buries it. It's a 1-goal game. Then Haggerty gets the ball inside and scores again. Tie ball game. Haggerty with a hat trick in the third quarter alone. Bobcats finally able to respond. Peyton Shoma hits a mid-air shot. Bobcats back up 7-6, but Haggerty again scored before the fourth, and it's 7-7 after 3. Under 13 to play, Alden deflects the shot, but Kozak fires it in off the rebound. Fairfield takes its first lead of the game, and Haggerty iced it, weaving towards the crease and netting her 5th goal of the game. The Stags defend their home turf, securing the 9-8 comeback win. The Delmond sisters combined for 6 goals, but Quinnipiac falls to 0-3 in MAC play.
Staying on women's lax, Quinnipiac ventured down to the Bronx Saturday afternoon to take on Manhattan. The Bobcats pummeled the Jaspers, 15-1. Ella Grace Delmond led Quinnipiac with 5 goals, 4 of which came in an 8-goal outburst in the second quarter. For most of the game, the Bobcats held a shutout until Manhattan got on the board with 4:43 left in the game. Quinnipiac picks up its first MAC win of the season.
Now let's take a look at the standings for the MAC. Mount St. Mary's and Iona remain undefeated in conference play. They'll face off in just over a week in an exciting matchup, while Ryder and Merrimack round out the bottom of the MAC, unable to win a game so far in conference play. Quinnipiac and Manhattan are just above them with 1 win each, but the Bobcats will look to extend their 1-game win streak against Merrimack at home on Wednesday.
We've got to take a break, but coming up next, men's lacrosse takes on MAC leading and in-state rival Sacred Heart, looking to stop their losing streak.
And both baseball and softball traveled up to face Niagara for their farthest conference road trips of the season. We'll be right back on Sports Paws.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Buckle up! Nobody is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your canine fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no pass. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out rhymes?
Brady, that's like a crossover with a missed layup.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you, with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Mate Marinov. He is good, but oh man, is he bad. And
that team is amazing. How do you not put fish on women's volley?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Quinnipiac men's lacrosse played MAC frontrunner Sacred Heart on Saturday. Let's take a gander. Sacred Heart takes a trip up to the Merritt Parkway to take on Quinnipiac. The Pioneers sit as the top dogs in the MAC, while the Bobcats, who you see warming up right there, are struggling on a 3-game losing skid. Let's start, of course, in the first quarter. The Pioneers struck first. John Murray put it past MAC preseason player of the year Mason Oak to make it 1-0 Sacred Heart, but the Pios kept rolling. Tucker Spencer's 33rd, great number by the way, goal of this season. It's good for second most in the MAC this year. Sacred Hearts are 4-0, but Nick Mione has something to say about that. He's cutting the lead to 4-1 Sacred Heart, but Mione's goal would be the Bobcats' only score in the first half. Pioneers scored 5 unanswered goals, including that Will Moulton goal, and Sacred Heart's blown it wide open 9-1. Third quarter now, Quinnipiac trying to get something going. It's Mione again. He gets the pass right here. Looking, crawling in. Whoop! Second of the day, he's the only Bobcat on the scoreboard. Sacred Heart tacks on 2 more, and after 3, it's 11-2 Pioneers. Fourth quarter now, and Quinnipiac is looking like a new team. Ryan Goodman finds the back of the net here, and he had 2 of the Bobcats' 5 unanswered goals in the frame. It's 11-7, it's a ball game, but Sacred Heart's Tommy Bull, all name team selection right there, by the way, takes the air out of the Bobcat sails, and that would be the final goal of the game. The Pioneers win this one 12-7, improving to 9-2 on the year, and the Bobcats suffer their 4th loss in a row with 2 conference games remaining on the schedule. Prior to the game, the team had their senior day celebration commemorating their graduating class. Q30's Seb Lopes has the story.
Today was senior day for the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team. Of the 6 seniors celebrated, one that stands out the most, Mason Oak, the preseason MAC Player of the Year. Oak once again had a standout performance on Saturday afternoon, making 18 saves for a .600 save percentage.
Just to have that presence on senior day especially, a great tribute to him and everything he's done for us. I thought the defense played well for about 3 quarters there. That second we kind of started letting some things up. A lot of it was a clear and second chance opportunities we were giving up. But just for him to stay locked in there, again, giving up 11 in the first half there, for him to lock in and finish the way he did was huge.
One season ago, Oak was trying to find his spot in the team. A season later, he's not only found his spot, he's also found a leadership role.
Yeah, his presence there. It's definitely felt a little more this year. Last year, I think he was still trying to find his feet a little bit. First year starting in net, but the return with some of those accolades, you can see the confidence he brings and the communication and the way he gets the guys in front of him going. So it's a little bit of the Mason Oak aura. He's not the biggest physical presence, but definitely has a bit of a swagger.
That aura helps the class of 6 seniors bring positivity all around the locker room, day in and day out.
The smiles that they bring every day. It's a fun group, even though the outcomes haven't turned in our favor. It's been an enjoyable group to show up to practice every day with. They're hungry, they're ready to go, and that's probably the biggest thing I'll take from them is those positive attitudes.
Mason Oak will look to continue to help this team as they are in the race for the playoffs. They head off to Siena to play the Saints next week. For Q30 Sports, I'm Seb Lopes.
After another weekend of MAC play, let's see how the MAC men's lacrosse standings shape up. All right, their win against Sacred Heart's win against Quinnipiac propelled Sacred Heart to the #1 spot as they are followed up by the Canisius Golden Griffins, where both share a MAC record of 5-1. Siena's just 1 game back, and they're 4-1 in conference play. Manhattan and Marist are at 4-5 respectively. Quinnipiac comes in at the 6th seed and are rounding out the rest of the standings are Merrimack at 7, Iona in 8th, and Mount St. Mary's comes in at number 9.
Up in Niagara, Quinnipiac softball beat the Purple Eagles 8-5 in the first game of Sunday's doubleheader. Senior Sydney Horan pitched 5 innings, striking out 4 batters and giving up 4 hits and 1 walk. She was credited with the win in Game 1. And first-year infielder Madison Waltke got her first collegiate homer in this one for the Bobcats.
Now in Game 2, the Bobcats topped the Purple Eagles 9-1. Horan got the nod again and got the win again. She pitched 6 innings of 1-run ball with 3 strikeouts. On the sticks, junior infielder Sofia Vega went 3 for 4 with 2 runs. Junior outfielder Mary Fogg led the team with 3 runs and also slapped 2 hits, one of which was a double.
Let's take a look at the standings for MAC softball. Marist is still undefeated, claiming its #1 spot. Iona is just behind the Red Foxes with only 1 loss. Then it's the other 2 Connecticut MAC teams, then Siena, and then Quinnipiac sits at #6. The Bobcats will face #7 Canisius in a doubleheader on the road on Wednesday. Niagara and St. Peter sit at the bottom of the MAC with 1 win each.
Quinnipiac baseball kicked off a 3-game series against Niagara Friday. Let's get into it. In Game 1, the Bobcats went into extra innings with the Purple Eagles and won 7-5. Sophomore infielder Kyle Garbowski and senior outfielder CJ Willis both had monster days, which was capitalized by back-to-back bombs in the 11th inning to give Quinnipiac the lead. On the bump, Ryan Hutchinson closed out the day, junior pitcher by the way, or senior pitcher, excuse me. He closed out the day with 4 shutout innings and got his first W of the year.
In Game 2, no extra innings were needed. The Bobcats got off to a hot start, going up 5-zip after 2 innings and never looked back. Shortstop Alex Irizarry and second baseman Johnny Knox both had 2 homers in this one, and Gabe Wright hit his first of the season. Right-hander Mike Poncini got the win for the Bobcats, putting him at 3-1 on the year.
To end the series, Quinnipiac toppled Niagara 9-5, just like a shift at Lumen. Willis stayed hot and homered in the 4th inning, making that 8 in MAC play. Willis is slashing .484 with a 1.564 OPS. Video game numbers. Irizarry knocked 2 hits and Matt Alduino tossed 5 innings of 3-run ball. The Bobcats collect their first series sweep in conference play this year. Now, let's see how the rest of the MAC stands. Up top, we have Fairfield at 1 and Ryder and Quinnipiac tied for 2nd. Stags have a series left with both the Bronx and the Bobcats. Right behind second is Sacred Heart with a 9-6 record. 5th is Marist with a 6-5 mark. Then there are 2 ties, Mount St. Mary's and Merrimack for 6th, and Iona and Siena for 8th. Manhattan is just outside of that picture, and rounding out the board are Canisius, Niagara, and St. Peter's.
Yeah, Ben, Quinnipiac has played 15 MAC games. That's exactly halfway through its conference schedule.
Q30 baseball beat reporters Jack Bergman and Spencer Decker have more about how the Bobcats have done at the midseason point.
Thanks, guys. Coming off the big weekend series win over Niagara, the Bobcats are looking to continue their momentum heading into the second half of the season. So far, we're officially 15 games, exactly the halfway point of the season, Spencer. What are you liking so far this year from the Bobcats?
Yeah, this is a great checkpoint for Quinnipiac. And one thing I talked about, Jack, is how this could be a turning point series for their team this weekend. And it might sound crazy since we're so early into the season, but after dropping those 2 series to Marist and Manhattan, getting a sweep like this at Niagara really could be a turning point. After getting those losses and playing a team like Niagara, who's 6th in the preseason poll, a very good team, I mean, there's maybe no debate anymore that the Bobcats' offense is the best in the MAC. They're leading in batting average, on-base percentage, 10 home runs against the Niagara Purple Eagles this weekend. Across 3 games, the offense is clicking on all cylinders, and CJ Willis continues to rake 3 home runs out of the 10 the Bobcats hit this weekend.
But it's not just the offensive side of the ball that really was successful over the weekend. It was also on defense and on pitching.
Yeah, John Delaney made an interesting decision this week, but after Sam Wright threw 117 pitches in his outing last weekend, he didn't get to start this week at Niagara. Nick Balcom came in his place to start on that Friday matchup, which was a little bit surprising, but also ultimately the Bobcats won all 3 games. So he gets his starter some rest, and the pitching was pretty good. Balcom, Alduino, and Poncini all had pretty good outings, which is, it's been a while since they've got consistent starting pitching out of all 3 guys. And if that's going to happen like that, look what happens. They get consistent pitching like that, 3 wins and a series sweep. Very important for them.
The Bobcats will look to continue to push their momentum after a successful weekend at Niagara in their rematch against URI at URI on Wednesday and at home against Merrimack over the weekend.
And that Merrimack series, a big series for us as well. We got Bobcat game day for all you guys at home on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Could be a series deciding game here in Hamden, but that's all we got here at the baseball field. That's Jack Bergman. I'm Spencer Decker. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jack and Spence. We have to take another quick break, but coming up, we recap the women's track and field teams meet at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Let's see how the Bobcats did in their second meet of the outdoor season.
Also, we have top 5 plays of the week in Quinnipiac sports, and we have our senior goodbyes to the show that's given us a lot in our time here. Stick with us. Sports Paws will be right back.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News, Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/act now.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Following record-breaking performances at the Raleigh Relays, 2 Quinnipiac women's track and field athletes received MAC recognition. Graduate student distance runner Alessandra Zafina won the MAC Women's Track Athlete of the Week award. Zafina broke her previous school record in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, finishing atop the MAC with a 10-minute, 19-second, and 96 milliseconds mark. Additionally, first-year Talia Graham won Field Player of the Week and broke her own record in the pole vault, vaulting 3.75 meters. On Saturday, the Bobcats went north to Amherst for the UMass flagship season opener. Let's take a look at how they did. First-year mid-distance runner Claire O'Sullivan and junior hurdler Sydney Lavelle finished second in the 800-meter run and the 400-meter hurdles, respectively. Additionally, first-year sprinter Kiara Baxter and long-distance runners senior Lydia Keys, sophomore Avery Palmucci, and junior Abby Bosdorf recorded personal bests in the 100-meter sprint and the 1,500-meter run, respectively. Both tennis teams were in action on Friday. The women's tennis team defeated Siena at home, winning 5-2. Caitlin Flower and Anaga Shankar played crucial roles in the win, winning points in both singles and doubles play for the Bobcats. The women's team stays undefeated in MAC play, improving the record to 5-0. They will take on Mount St. Mary's next on Saturday.
Also on Friday, men's tennis beat Siena at home 5-2, improving to 5-0 in MAC play. Daniel Vlek and Elias Hoxa won points in both doubles and singles play. Quinnipiac will host Mount St. Mary's on Saturday, which will be a crucial matchup as the Bobcats are just one game ahead of the Mount for the top spot in the MAC standings. Ben, do you know what time it is?
I think I do, Tony. It's top 5 time. You get the odds, I'll tackle the evens. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, women's lacrosse, Ella Grace Delman cuts across the middle. She fires the ball behind the back for the score. Quinnipiac wins it.
Number 4, on the softball diamond, Madison Walke drives a pitch to deep center field and, like Gary Cohen says, it's out of here. Quinnipiac sweeps Niagara.
Number 3, baseball, Johnny Knox takes a pitch that he likes and crushes it. That ball is long gone, 3rd long ball for Knox this season.
Number 2, let's keep the homer party going, Tony. Alex Irizarry gets a ball that he likes and cranks it, not like Soldier Boy, but like Irizarry to deep left field, and that ball was out of the park before you could say Purple Eagles.
Now to number 1, Gabe Wright will send the ball in the left field gap, and there's some trouble in the outfield as 1, 2, 3 Bobcats will score. Wright pulls into 3rd for the bases clearing triple. Well, Ben, it's almost time for us to sign off for Sports Paws for the final time, but first, let's take a moment to give our parting words for the show and for you, Q30 TV. I'll start us off. When I first got to Quinnipiac this fall, I hoped to be on 1, maybe 2 shows here, and now I've been fortunate to host this show alone 3 times, and all with someone named Ben. When Nick Boyd asked me if I wanted to host Paws, I was so nervous. I had never done a highlight read before, and he wrote in, not 1, not 2, not 3. I lost count after 4 because there were so many. But by the time the show started, I was able to find my groove with it. The sit-down interview I did with women's basketball's Jackie Grisdale and Gal Revive helped me to build better rapport with players I was covering, making my beat reporting content even stronger. Opportunities like this were the reason I chose to come to Quinnipiac for one final year of school. The master's on my resume is a nice touch, but it was the experiences I hadn't had yet that really drew me to QU and Q30, especially Sports Paws. Thank you to everyone here who made those aspirations a reality.
Thank you, Tony. Before I continue with my send-off, I want everyone in this room, and if you're watching at home, to do something with me. For 10 seconds, I want you to think about someone that has made an impact on you. It could be anyone in the world that you're grateful for. Partner, friend, whoever. I'll watch the time. Thanks for doing that with me. Regarding Sports Paws, there's 5 people that come to mind who I'm incredibly grateful for. Clever Streich, Dylan Summer, Gage Kilborn, Nick Antoniadis, and Paul Siracusa. I'd be remiss not to mention the impact of Alex Haverdansky as well. Clev, Dylan, Gage, Nick, and Paulie accepted me without question into their Mondays. Did I produce for them or add anything constructive to Paws? Absolutely not. But they somehow let me into the wedge with them on Mondays to goof around. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys have accepted and loved me over and over and over again, at my highs and my lows. I was doubtful of my spot at Quinnipiac, and you guys let me carve that out. I'm not choking up just yet. Thank you. You guys have given me my hardest laughs of college. Chipotle, the Gulag, Kid, and 33 have made me keel over. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dylan, you're like a brother to me. I mean that. Gage, you are the most unique person I have ever met. Don't change. Nikki, you are a steady hand in difficult times. Paulie, you're the man, just don't change. Clev, you care, and that counts for a lot. Passion is a good thing, but obsession isn't. You're not your job. You're not social media either. You're you, and that's enough. Thank you guys for some of the best memories of my college life. I'll forever be indebted to you and anyone else that molded me in some way, whether I've known you for 4 years or 4 months.
Thank you, Ben. That was beautiful. And during those 10 seconds, I thought of how grateful I am to be at this desk with you. So thank you for everything with my journey here at Quinnipiac. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have today for Sports Paws. Be sure to keep up with Q30 Television on all forms of social media. Thank you to everyone working hard behind the scenes. I'm Tony Wetmore.
For one final time, I'm Ben Jurgen. Have a great night, Bobcats. We'll see you down the road.